Do you have a son or daughter who's getting ready to serve a full-time mission? Well, today we're going to talk about 8 things to remember as a parent as your son or daughter prepares to become a missionary. And hopefully this will set them and you on the right path as they get ready to leave. Hi, my name is Brooke and I am the missionary mom. I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and so did my husband. And last year we sent our own son out on a mission to Guatemala. And when I was getting ready to serve a mission, we didn't have any of this voodoo magic called YouTube. In fact, if I'm being honest, my parents didn't even have the internet in our home. And so when I was preparing my son to go on a mission, I was able to turn to YouTube, and I was super excited to see what kind of information was there. What to prepare for, what to buy, how to pack, just ways to get ready. And I was amazed by the lack of information that I found here. So this is my attempt to help you with that. Now, this is my opinion. This is the truth according to me. Every missionary is different and every mission is different. I'm just going to share with you what we did, and hopefully you can find some value in it. All right, let's get started. My first tip today is to talk to as many parents of current missionaries or recently returned missionaries as you possibly can. Talk to parents everywhere, in your ward, in your neighborhood, in your family, at work. Ask them about how they prepare their child for their mission. Ask them products that worked for them. Maybe you could ask them about specific experiences that their children had that they feel like they took some wisdom away with them that they could share with you so that you could be more further prepared. Another thing that I did that was really helpful to me was that I went onto Facebook or any social media and just searched for the name of the mission, LDS mission group, like Guatemala City Central LDS mission. And for just about every mission, you can find a mission group filled with missionaries, returned missionaries, and parents for that specific mission. And you can go on there and you can ask questions, you can make connections, you can make friendships with the parents that are on there. So that you are better prepared and you have somebody that you can connect with that understands your experience very specifically. Another thing you can do is you can ask the people that you know if they know anybody that has served, if your child already has their call, anybody that they know who has served in the specific mission that your child is serving in. And if they've got somebody, reach out and talk to that person, connect with that person. You can find very specific information about your child's individual mission that can be very, very helpful. And really, knowledge is power. And the more knowledge that you have about the upcoming mission, the less anxiety both you and your missionary will feel. My second tip for the day is for you to try and relax about buying all this stuff. Preparing for a mission can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be as expensive as you think. Shop religiously for deals. Oh, that was a pretty good pun. Shop religiously for deals and try and buy used. I'll tell you a story about 3 specific items that we purchased, big ticket items for my son, where shopping around made a huge difference. The first one was with his shoes. I took him to a department store and I had him try on all the shoes so he could get the feel for them. And the pair that he found that he loved the most, it was $260. They were nice leather boots. And I didn't want to quite spend that much, but it was important to me that he have really good shoes. And so I went home and I checked Amazon, and it was a little bit cheaper there, around the $200 range. And I thought, that's a little bit better, but I'm going to wait. And I came back and I checked really every single day for a few weeks. And finally, after a few weeks, I checked Amazon and the price of the boots had dropped to $95. I was able to get the exact same boots from the department store for $95, and they've been fantastic for him. The second thing was luggage. I heard about a lady in our ward who was selling some very gently used, practically new luggage. And so I bought his luggage used, and it cost $60 for the entire set instead of several $100s for a set of luggage, or even a couple of $100s if you go to Ross or someplace like that. And then the third place where we found success trying to shop around was we heard about a local church, not a different denomination of ours, who was having a charity sale. They'd been given a bunch of suits from a local suit store that was going out of business, and they were allowed to sell them at a discount to earn money for their church. And so my husband went down there and he picked through all the bins, and he found an amazing suit for our son that cost $20. It is very easy, bare minimum, to spend $200 to $250 on a suit, and you can spend much, much more than that. So those were two big wins for us that I was very excited about. My recommendation would be to play your own game. If you have $1,000 to $1,500 to prepare your missionary for their mission, then that's how much you can do it for. Don't worry about your sister-in-law or the ward member or your kid's best friend who their family spent $3,000 or $4,000 or more on preparing for their mission. If you have $1,500 to prepare them, that is enough, and they will be okay. When it comes to products that you buy, there are a few things out there that the really high quality name brand item is important. Its longevity is important, and it will make a big difference. Most of the other things, the name brand, the store brand, the cheaper product will do just fine, and they will get along just fine with that product. I want to just please do your very best not to give in to the gimmicks and the fear. I had this feeling, and maybe I'm hoping that you'll do better than I did, but I had this feeling that I had to buy every single thing that my son could possibly need under any extenuating circumstance and send it with him inside of these 2 suitcases. And I felt a lot of fear involved with that. But here's the truth. In most every mission that your child is being sent to, if something is forgotten or they need something as they go along, they'll be able to find it there. Or they'll be able to find a good substitute. If on a rare occasion they get sent somewhere where they really can't find that product, they can learn to do without. They'll be okay. They'll learn to live like the people that they're serving amongst, and it will be good for them. Our kids have to haul this stuff around with them for 18 months, for 2 years, on transfers and from city to city on public transportation. And it's a lot of stuff. So being as minimalistic as possible really worked for us. And honestly, my son probably hasn't touched maybe 20% of the stuff that I sent with him. So we think that we're saving them with all these things, but it's okay if we relax just a little bit. My third tip for the day is to try and remember that your child is actually an adult. Now, they are young adults, but they are adults nonetheless, and they need to have the power and the right to make decisions for themselves. We need to step back a little bit and give them space for them to flex their wings and to fly. I know that this can be really tough after 18 years of being the one in charge and being the one to direct their lives. But as we step back, we can see some really amazing things happen from them as they grow into their new role. For me, it was really good to suppress the urge to try to save my son when he was in tricky situations, or when he came across an experience that that was difficult for him. But my advice and what worked for me was to continue to teach him, give him advice, to teach him and prepare him, and then to step back and allow him to have the power to act. And that really worked for us, to help him to step into his new role as an adult, so that he would have the confidence to make decisions for himself and to act for himself. My fourth tip for the day is to let them be the driver. Now, I believe that nobody should be forced to go on a mission. Our young men are asked to go. They're invited to go. It is a responsibility of theirs. And our young women, they have the opportunity to pay attention to the Spirit and what the Spirit is telling them about whether or not it's the right choice for them. But encouraging someone to go and teaching them that it's a good thing and forcing them to go are 2 very different things. From my experience, a forced missionary is not an effective missionary anyway. is, as your missionary is preparing to go on their mission, if they're dragging their feet about the process, if it's a constant battle, it might be good to just sit down and take the time to have a frank conversation. Just ask them, this is what I've noticed. Is a mission something that you are invested in doing? And if it's not, then you can address that as it comes, and you can cross that bridge. But they need to be the driver. If encouragement and reminders about setting appointments or filling out applications or all the different steps that come with getting ready to serve our mission are a good thing. But for us, encouragement and reminders were where it stopped. And we tried to step back and give him the chance to take the initiative and do the thing himself so that he was invested in it. All right, tip number 5 today is to help your future missionary to expect hard. I feel like this is one thing that my husband and I did pretty well. Like I told you, I served a mission. I served stateside, and my husband served a mission, and he served foreign. And we knew how hard a mission was. And we had seen the crazy range of emotions that you can have as a missionary. And so as we were preparing our son, we told him over and over and over again, this is going to be hard. This is going to be really hard. There are going to be times that you are going to want to quit. There will be times that you will cry. There will be times where you will question yourself in your testimony. It's going to be so hard. And eventually he just said, okay. Like, do you even want me to actually serve a mission? And we said, yes, we absolutely want you to serve a mission. But it's important for us to know what it is that you're getting into. The truth is that missions are hard. That is the experience. It is quite the range of emotions. And the beginning is really, really hard. Most missionaries experience a level of difficulty emotionally and physically and spiritually that they have never experienced before in the first 3 to 4 months of their mission. And it really throws them for a loop. And most missionaries, this kind of evens out after the first few months. But the trouble comes when they're not expecting for it to be hard. When they're not expecting for it to be hard, and then all of a sudden it is very hard, this can really throw them for a loop. And they might start to think that something is wrong with them, or that something is wrong with their experience, or just something is wrong in general. And when something feels like it's wrong, there becomes a desperate need to fix what is wrong. And that, they may feel like maybe I'm not supposed to be here, or maybe I'm not doing this right. And there's this desperate need to fix. And the truth is that most of the time, it's just hard. There was a quote, it's often attributed to President Hinckley because he used it a couple of times in one of his talks, but it's not from him. It's from a man named Jenkins Lloyd Jones. And he said this: anyone who imagines that bliss is normal is going to waste a lot of time running around shouting that he has been robbed. The fact is that most putts don't drop, most beef is tough, most children grow up to be just people, most successful marriages require a high degree of mutual toleration, and most jobs are more often dull than otherwise. Life is just like an old-time rail journey. Delays, sidetracks, smoke, dust, cinders, and jolts, interspersed only occasionally by beautiful vistas and thrilling bursts of speed. The trick is to thank the Lord for letting you have the ride. And I'd say that applies perfectly to serving a full-time mission. Tip number 6 for the day is to do your best in your interactions with your son or daughter to focus on how proud you are of them and not how hard it is going to be to see them go. Ooh, I know that this is a really hard one. But this was the advice that was given to us from our stake president the day that he came over to set my son apart for his mission. And it really has served us well. it's obvious that you are going to miss your missionary. That the words that we use matter. And so if we're constantly gushing about how much we're going to miss them and what are we going to do without them and how hard things will be and how life is just going to fall apart without them and I don't know what I'm going to do without you, that can have a negative effect on our missionaries. And we know that you're going to miss them. I was going to miss my son so much. And, we all cry. I think of the day that we took him to the airport to drop him off. And I cried a ton. I'm not asking you to suppress your emotions or telling you that that's a good idea. But just what is your focus? And what's the majority of the words that you are saying coming out of your mouth? What do they focus on? It worked really well for us to focus on how proud we were of him, how much we loved him, and how much excitement we were feeling about the growth that we knew that was going to happen for him and the things that he was going to see. And that really helped make that transition easier for both of us. Tip number 7 for the day is to make time for memories and document them. I'm talking about this period of time really kind of right before the last weeks or months before your son or daughter is getting ready to leave. There will never be another time in their lives like this one, where they're at home and they're with you. When they come home from their missions, they are going to be focusing on their own lives and focusing on independence and moving on. And it's really great to take advantage of this time. It's really like none other. Take advantage of the time and do something. Family vacations are awesome. I think that would be great to do, but it doesn't have to be a family vacation. Just sitting around and taking time to chat together and to connect together. Play a game or watch a movie as a family. Take your missionary out for lunch during home MTC. Get them out of the house that way. There are so many things you can do, but the root of it all is to just soak up this last little bit of time that you have when they're at home with you, because it is so, so, so valuable. And then I would encourage you, as you're in these memories, to take pictures and video, because you're going to want to document it. And once they leave, you will come back and reference and look at those pictures and those videos over and over and over again. And it'll be good for you to remember for your family. All right, our final tip for the day, tip number 8, is to remember that your future missionary won't be perfect. They just have to be willing. This is something that I feel like is really weird about our culture, but we look at missionaries as they're serving full-time, and we look at them almost like they're superhuman, that they're not human, that they don't have weaknesses. And so as our sons or daughters are preparing to go on missions, we expect them to get to this point. And the truth is, thankfully, that our children are human. And because they're human beings, they're going to have weaknesses. And that's okay. And that's the way that it is. The only thing that's required of your future missionary, it's not perfection. The only thing that's required is that they're willing. There's a scripture, Doctrine and Covenants, section 4. This is a section that's often attributed to missionaries and missionary work. And there's a verse in there that's just very succinct that I love, that I feel like applies here. And it says, if you have desires to serve God, you are called to the work. And that's what it is. Are you willing? Are you willing to work hard and to do your best? Another quote that I really love is from Elder Wilcox. He is a member of the Young Men's General Presidency, I believe. And he said something in conference a few years ago. He said, worthiness is not flawlessness. Worthiness is being honest and trying. And that's what we want from our future missionaries. Honesty and trying. And to remember that they're humans just like the rest of us, and that they're doing their best. And that their best is good enough. And that everything that makes them human is also something that they will be able to apply to helping to serve others and bring them closer to Christ while they're on their mission. All right, that's it. My very first video, I'm done. I'm pretty sure I have more wrinkles now than I did when I started. But this has been fun. If you have more ideas of things to remember as you help your son or daughter to prepare for a mission, please drop those in the comments down below. Or if you have requests for videos that you would like to see in the future, for information that you're looking for, you can drop those in the comments as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, I promise that there will be more videos in the future sharing valuable knowledge for how to prepare for a mission and for a mission itself. All right, have a great day.